Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome back to my game of 5 Parsecs from Home, Planetfall. Planetfall is a brand new, I don't know whether you call it an expansion or just a continuation of the game. It's meant to be run standalone. You don't have to know how to play 5 Parsecs from Home or Tactics, but it's part of that family. Now, there's a few things I want to do in this video. I will be getting to the table and doing some combat, so you'll see how that goes. But I want to go over the campaign turn sequence, because this happens before you go to the table. There is a set of steps that you follow, and in this video, I'll follow as many as are relevant. Some won't be relevant. For example, injuries. My colonists or my troopers right now have no injuries, so I will skip that step. But in later videos, you will probably see that process coming. So what I'm going to do is I'm not making any assumptions here. If you already play 5 Parsecs from Home, a lot of this, quite a bit of this, is going to be very familiar to you. And if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to try to go over as much as I can so that you'll see how it goes. Now, in the last video, I made my crew, and I recorded it all on this. I've got to transfer this into my book here. But these are mainly just the soldiers and scientists and scouts that I will be using in my game. Over here, I'm tracking some of the data related to my actual colony, like build points and its repair capacity, how much it can repair versus how damaged it is, things like that. So I tell you that so that because some of this is going to affect those numbers. So here's how it works. In a campaign turn sequence, you're going to be working towards a battle. There are some pre-battle steps that you will take. The pre-battle steps there are 6 of them. It's recovery, repairs, scout reports, enemy actions, colony events, and then the mission determination, which is going to set the setting for the battle. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through these 6. Now, recovery is interesting. As I mentioned, I have no injuries. So what I'm going to do is this is called campaign turn number 1. And there's a lot of things going on in a campaign turn. There's the pre-stuff, the battle, and then there's the post-battle stuff. So for 1 under recovery, I'm just gonna put a 0 or NA because it doesn't affect me right now. Next, we're going to go to repairs. Now, as I said, your colony may take damage over time, and this is where your colony will suffer damage. It says, if your colony has suffered damage, you may restore lost integrity at this point, because it's the repairs, right? Your repair rate, and my repair rate right now is, where is my repair rate? Repair capacity. Your repair rate is, okay, hold on. Your repair rate indicates how many points of damage you can restore. For a starting colony, it is always 1 point per campaign. So I thought I had that on there, but that must be the repair capacity 1. Okay, then it says if you have raw materials, you can spend up to 3 to do an additional repair point. And if your colony bot is broken, last video I mentioned that you will be bringing along a bot on your missions. If it gets damaged, it takes 1 campaign turn to repair it. So it says if your colony bot is currently broken, it is repaired at this stage, but cannot be deployed. So like I said, there's 1 turn you won't be able to use it. All right, for repairs, NA. 3 is scout reports. Now here we're getting into some fun stuff. So you have scouts for your colony that are going out in this world, and they're, trying to find things that are of interest. It says each turn your scout teams are hard at work exploring the world. You will roll once on the Scout Discovery table. Now, the Scout Discovery table is on page 59. I apologize, I do not have the hardback version yet. It doesn't release until February of 2026, so I'm having to use my iPad right now. It is a D100. Oops. It is a D100, so I will roll this. Red is high, and I rolled a 69. 69 is, I keep tapping it, Recon Patrol. All right, so I did a recon patrol. Let me read this to you. If there are tactical enemies on the map, select one and add an enemy information for them. If there are no tactical enemies, treat this as no event. So the recon is no event. So let me explain this real quick. As you encounter enemies, there are different types of enemies. One is sort of like the animal life that is on the planet. Tactical enemies are enemies that are either human or alien that are coming to either try to take the planet or they're coming to steal from you, whatever. Those are called tactical opponents. And in order to fight them and to drive them off, you have to collect information on them. And you do that by fighting them, encountering them, and at some point you can try to identify like their headquarters or their stronghold. And you can even later in the game schedule an attack on their stronghold. And if you manage to win, I believe the rules say that you've driven them off the planet. That is a long way away from me. So, but right now, recon patrol, nothing. All right, let's keep going. It says you may perform one scout action on your turn. Now, in the last video, I made a map, and unfortunately, I think I left it upstairs. I did. The map is an 8x8 grid of the area around my colony. And some of them have information, some of them have hazards, things like that. It says select a map sector that is not enemy occupied and which has not already been explored. Roll 2d6 twice and pick the lowest score. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Because I don't have that map with me, I'm just going to pick, starting at my home colony on the map and going clockwise around it, the squares around it. I'm going to start at 12, and I'm going to move clockwise until I find one that is unexplored and has no enemies, and that'll be the one I choose. And in the next video, I will update my map for you. So it says you roll 2d6 twice. Pick the lowest score each time. The first is your resource level. The second is the hazard. Okay, so in that square, the first one is the resource level. So the lowest number will be my resource level. I rolled a 6 and a 6. All right, so the resource will be a 6, and then it says you roll them again, and this is the hazard level. You pick the lowest. I rolled a 3 and a 2, so the hazard will be a 2. Those numbers will affect later on when you decide to do something on that in that grid or whatever. Those numbers can affect how much resources you gather and what kind of enemies you encounter. The higher the number of the hazard, the more dangerous it is. It says mark the values on the map. And by the way, if it says if you roll a double 4, double 5, or double 6, you also get an ancient signs. All right, so I have an ancient signs +1. And there is a way to track that on here, actually, which is kind of cool. I will put ancient signs 1. So I have it tracking. All right. That's cool. I'm glad I read that because that double 6 was nice. Scout Discovery. Here we go. That is what I just rolled on that previous table, the Scout Discovery. And then it says process enemy information. Now, this is all being done under step 3, the Scout reports. Process enemy info. Now, right now, I don't have any. But this is going to repeat what I said. To track down and destroy an enemy, you have to collect enemy information. If you obtain enemy information, you may now try to piece it all together. I'm not even going to go over this, but it involves rolling a dice and equal or less than the total information you have. And if you do, then you can schedule what's called a strike mission. But we're not going to do that. Ancient signs. Okay. Each time you obtain an ancient sign, you may roll a d6. On a roll equal or below the number, you can carry out a delve. All right, so what that means is you find that on this planet there was an ancient civilization or civilizations that is long gone. But I have 1, so I'm going to roll a d6. And on a 1, I can actually go underground and explore one of these sites. I rolled a 5, so I do not get to explore it. So no exploration. And then, now we're at step 4, enemy activity. All right, here we go. Enemy activity. As a matter of fact, I know I have a picture of I always take pictures of my after a battle and things like that, so I don't lose it. Let me go back. Here it is. I do have it. All right, so you can't see it very well because the screen is just too bright. But I'm going to copy my map into here. I'm going to copy it right here. It is a 6x6. Excuse me. I thought it was an 8x8. It is a 6x6 grid, and divide it into halves, and then divide it into thirds. Okay. And I already rolled for what's in each one, so I'm just going to do this real quick. My home is right here. So I said I was going to start at 12, so that's this one. So R6H2 is that one. This one I don't know about. This one I don't know about. These question marks are things that could be discovered if you go check them out. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I want to write this down. Okay, so here we go. Enemy activity. While you are going about your business, the enemy has plans of its own. These schemes are not always directed to you. Enemies are often just dealing with their own hostile wildlife, Slin raids, and each other. Slin, by the way, is a race, an invasive species that they're technologically advanced in a way. They will be making appearances in this game. The Slin are sort of an off-world locust, and they'll start showing up. If any tactical enemies are present, you pick one, roll a D100. Well, I have no tactical enemies yet, so I won't have to worry about step 4. But if I did, I would roll on this table, and it would tell me whether they're doing a patrol, whether they're going to perform a strike action on me, or whether they're going to raid me, things like that. Step 5 is colony event. These can be good or bad. Life at home is unpredictable. Anything can happen. Roll a D100 to determine what event takes place this turn. If the effects of an event turn out to be impossible to implement, ignore it. Instead, no event happens. Remember, colony damage results in a loss of morale. Okay, so we got to check this out. So we're going to roll a D100. The chart is on page 63. Red is high. I rolled an 80. 80 is, and it carries over to the next page, hostile virus. Great. Already starting off with a virus. A particular virulent infection has bypassed your biological containment system. Roll a d6 for each character on your roster. Any who roll a natural 1 have contracted the virus. Once you have rolled for every character, for each infected, pick a random non-infected character and roll again. Continue until no more 1s are rolled. Each infected carrier must spend 1d3 campaign turns in sickbay. Roll separately for each. Adjust the colony morale by -2. Now, your morale can go negative, and right now my morale is... Colony morale, where are you? Colony morale is 0. So, it's going down to -2. And we are now going to roll for my colonists. So what I'm going to do is... I'll roll a d6. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll start here. Nothing. Here. Nothing. Here. Nothing. Here. Ooh. All right. Let's do another one. This one. This one. I'm at a d6. Hold on. This is interesting. All right. Let's keep going. So basically, it's just going to, if it spreads to everybody, I'm in trouble. We'll go to this one. No. And this one. No. All right. Then it says, for each infected character, I have 2 infected. Pick a random non-infected and roll again. Okay, so here's what I'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one, does he infect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? No. This one, same thing. No. All right, so I have a trooper and a scientist who are infected, and it says they will be out for 1d3 game turns. Roll separately for each. The scientist is out for 2 turns. -2 turns. The trooper is out for -2 turns. So basically what it means is when I go out on a mission, I'm down 2 players. Down 2. All right. Now, one interesting thing. I could have burned a story point to re-roll that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it right now. I already know what the result is. So the way it works is I'm going to go from 5 down to 4. I hate to burn one this early in the game, but there are ways to get story points back. I'm going to burn one, and I'm going to re-roll. And you have to take, I believe the rule says you have to take the new roll. I rolled a 57. 57 is, on the previous page, experimental local medicine. All right, that's not bad. That sounds positive. So let's check that out and read it first. Well, it doesn't matter because I've already rolled it, so I have to take it. And the colony morale is back to 0. And let's see. While it is not ready for mass production, a new drug extracted from local flora is showing promising results. Select a character recovering from injuries and reduce their recovery time by 2 turns. If the character is completely recovered, they can act normally. Increase the colony morale by +1. All right, so my morale goes up to +1. I've got some medicine that's showing results. Plus, select a character recovering and reduce their recovery time by 2 turns. The bad news is that is a one-time event. I don't think I can keep using it. Select a character recovering from injuries and reduce their recovery time. I wonder if that's like I have it like, and anytime somebody's injured, I can pick one. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. That would be a great one to have if it was a continuing type deal. All right, let's keep going. That was step 5. Now here we go. Step 6 is the mission determination. Pick your mission. Mission selection. Okay, there are a lot of different missions in this game. It says once you've reviewed your scout and enemy actions, you can determine your primary mission. You get to pick it sometimes, not always. If you have been attacked, you have to play the pitched battle. I'm not being attacked. If the choice is up to you, you have a number of options. You can visit a sector that has not been explored and explore it by playing a scouting mission. You may go to a sector that is marked for investigation. That's these question marks. Question mark equals investigate. This has the chance of finding mission data, which can help you discover the truth about the world. You'll play an investigation mission. You may go to a sector that has been explored already. I've only explored this one. Actually, does that count as explored? I don't think so. That's been scouted. Meaning it has resource values. Oh, it is. Okay, but which is not yet exploited. Exploited is when you take those 6 resources that I rolled here. If so, play an exploration mission if you want to search for resources to bolster your colony. Play a science mission instead if you want to focus on research samples to improve your research. By the way, this game has a research tree, like video games, where you can expend your research points, and there are different areas you can go. You can go medical, weapons, armor, those kind of things. It's really, really slick. You can hunt for life forms to collect samples. That would be a hunt mission. You may opt to stay close to the colony and conduct a patrol mission. This can be used to explore map sectors near the colony. It can also be used to safeguard against future morale loss, so you won't lose morale. If there are tactical enemies on the map, meaning you have completed at least one milestone, you can try to capture a sector by doing a skirmish mission. There is also strike missions, assault missions, delves, but those are specific to when you've got an enemy, and I don't have any yet. So really what it comes down to is I want to do a scouting mission, an investigation mission, or an exploration mission. I'm doing okay on... I'm not damaged. I don't have a lot of resources right now. But this question mark is an investigation mission. Let's take a look at that. So here's how it works. When you want to pick a mission, you got to go to page 114. And let's see. Okay. mission briefings. Okay, yeah. So on page 114, it has all the different missions and who will come along. So if I do an investigate, it says I'll be playing on a 3-foot by 3-foot table. I will deploy only 4 characters from my roster. 4, that's it. If I do a scout mission, I will do a 2 by 2 foot, and I'll only deploy 2 characters. You are not required to deploy a scout, but it is recommended. And then finally, an exploration mission, a 3 by 3, and I deploy 6 of my 8. Okay, does it say your mission is to conduct a sweep of the area to determine its value? Let's do an investigation. That sounds fun. There's 4 players going along. I could send. It says that you should send. I think it says a scout should go. You will deploy 4 characters. Well, it doesn't say it has to be a scout. It says your goal is to search the area for interesting sites. Each discovery marker. Okay, blah 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 blah. At each star. Okay, let's do that. So I am going to choose an investigate mission. I can bring 4 crew, and it is a 3-foot by 3-foot table. All right, with that information, it also tells me things about like objectives and terrain. Sometimes it'll tell you that stuff. It says there'll be a discovery marker placed in the center of each table quarter. So I'm supposed to be going after those. And it says your goal is to search them for sites. Each discovery marker can be investigated by moving within 2 inches of it. It could turn out to be an enemy, a reward, a contact, action required, or data. And then it says you end the mission when your squad is no longer on the table. Rewards. You receive any rewards acquired during the mission. If you complete at least 2 discovery markers, the area is considered no longer holding an investigation, and you can either roll 1d6 twice to see if you can conduct a science mission or a scouting mission. Okay, it is time to go to the table. I have set up my alien planet, and I've got some 3D printed stuff on here. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to help you out. Main thing is these tiles are called Slaughterscape tiles from Fat Dragon Games. I've been a big fan of Fat Dragon Games, and these just make it so easy to create a custom color and a custom battlefield. And in this case, I'm going with like a yellowy gold surface. All right, I am doing the investigation mission, and it says you use a 3-foot by 3-foot. This is 32 inches instead of 36, so it's not quite 3 by 3, but it's good enough for me. It says place discovery markers in the center of each table quarter. Well, that makes it real easy. This is a 4 by 4. One will go there. One will go here. It says to place them as close as you can. If there's terrain, one will go there. And then I'll just move this rock a little bit and put that one right there. So those are what I am looking to investigate. The goal is to search the area for these. Each of the discovery markers must be moved within 2 inches. One of my crew must move within 2. And the reward is you must complete at least 2 discovery markers. So I need to get it to at least 2 of them. Now, I'm also supposed to put contact markers. These are potential enemies. It says place 1 contact marker at the center of each of the battlefield edges you did not deploy from. All right, so here's the deal. I want to deploy here, but before I do, it says you roll a d6. On a 4 or higher, I can choose this side. Otherwise, I have to randomly start at one of the other ones. Honestly, these are mostly, mostly the same, so I'm not really worried about it, but let's just go ahead and do it. I rolled a 5, so I can stay here. So I will stay at this location, And it says your crew must set up within 1 inch of each other and within 1 inch of the battlefield. So I'm just going to pull them back, and they're 1 inch bases, so they're all within 1 inch of the starting edge. And then I have to place contact markers at the center of each of the other ones. So there'll be one there, there'll be one there, and there will be one here. All right. Now, it says the first time a contact is revealed to be a hostile life form, roll on the campaign life form encounter. I haven't done that yet. This is an interesting version of 5 Parsecs. In the other games, the enemies are already known. They come in tables, you roll them, and it tells you what they are. For this, you will roll for 10 unique life forms on this planet. The first time I roll one, I'll keep track of it. There's a table in the book where you write it down. And eventually, over time, you will develop these 10 life forms and that will be the majority of the life forms, the alien animal life forms. All right, so it says at the start of each enemy phase, label the battlefield edges 1 to 3. If the die roll a d6. If the die result matches an edge, you place another contact there. If it's a 4, 5, or 6, do not place a contact. And then what happens is, when the contact marker is within line of sight of one of mine, we will roll to see what it is. Now, what I'm going to do, line of sight, I don't have enough terrain right now. I'm still 3D printing terrain. Line of sight is pretty easy right now. I mean, this guy has line of sight to that one. This one has line of sight to that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say line of sight is, we'll go with 12 inches. Does that sound fair? 12 inches, and I'm going to come over here and get a tape measure and just verify that. So 12 inches, just to make it fun. All right, so yeah. So initially, none of the contact markers are within line of sight. We'll say it's raining or foggy, something like that. Okay, now the way this game goes is it's broken into phases. There is a fast phase, or there's a reaction phase. You roll for reaction. Anyone who reacts in the fast phase will go in the fast phase. Then the monsters will go, or the creature phase, enemy phase, and then the slow phase. The best way I can do this is just to go ahead and do it and explain it. So I'm going to roll 4 green dice. Now, I should mention that what I've brought here is I've brought 1 scientist, and I'm going to put, the scientist is, his name is Jeb. Jeb is sort of recruited to come out here with a scout who is the yellow base. And I'll come up with names. And then my 2 troopers are the first 2 troopers. All right. I'm going to roll 4 6-sided dice. And what I'm looking for is 1s and 2s. The 1s and 2s, I'm going to assign them to the crew that have those numbers. So if someone has a reaction 1, if I assign a 1 to them, they'll move in the fast phase. If someone has a reaction of 2, like Jeb, a 1 or 2 can be used to assign him for fast. So I rolled 2 2s and 2 5s. So the 2 5s will go later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 6s on, the 2 2s are Jeb and one of my troopers. So I'm going to put a 6 on the scout. The scout have a reaction of 1. So I rolled no 1s. I'm going to put 6s on the scout and a trooper. And I'm going to put 1s on the scientist and the other trooper to indicate they will move in the fast phase. The 6s are the slow phase. Now my scientist can move 4, and the trooper can move 4. So first thing I want to do is I see this one right here. I can move 4 inches right there, and I'm going to send the scientist behind him. He's sort of guarding the scientist. Okay, in the in the rules, when you do a move action, if you don't do anything else, I believe there's a dash option, and let me get to that real quick. So for moving, Where is it? It's on page... That's the final one. Player clear. Okay, here we go. The reaction roll we did. So scientists can do one move and then perform a single action. Scouts can perform a move and one action, or they can do an action and then a move. Troopers can perform a move and then an action. However, if they're assigned in the fast phase, they can forego moving, take one action in each of the quick and slow phases. So I'm not going to do that right now. I want him sticking around. So he moved, and now they could do an action. Well, I am not within 12 inches of that marker, so I'm not seeing it. It's not in my line of sight, and I do see this, and that's all I can do. I can't double move, so their turn is over. So now we go to the creature phase, or the enemy phase. And the way this works is, let me get to it real quick, because every mission has its own way of running it. So during the investigation, which is right here, contact markers, at the start of each enemy phase, label the battlefields 1, 2, and 3. I'm sorry, I keep kicking that. 1, 2, and 3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. It says you roll a d6, and if I roll one of those numbers, I place a contact there. I rolled a 2, so I will place another contact down here at 2. That's at the start of the enemy phase. Now, during the enemy phase, those contact markers will move, and I'm going to get you the page number for that because it is... Let me get to it. Contacts, or just bear with me. Normally I'd have my book all with little tabs for helping me find things, but I'm having to do it in the iPad. It's page 41. That was it. Page 41. Contacts are... Okay. When a contact activates, you roll 2 different colored D6 dice. So I'm going to roll a red and a green. And the red is what's called the aggression die, and the green is the random. If the red is higher than the green value, the contact will move towards the closest crew member. If the green is higher than the red, it will move in a random direction. Now, it will move in the random direction based on the number on the die. So if it's aggressive, if the red die is higher and it rolls a 6, it will move 6 inches in my direction. If the random die is higher, it will move in a random direction that many inches. So let's do this one right here. Okay, the 6 beats the 5, so it will move 6 inches, and it will go around terrain in the shortest path. So these enemies, we haven't identified them yet, so it will go 4, 5, 6. And guess what? It is within... It's 11 inches away. So this one's going to get revealed in a moment. But let's come over here and do all of them first. We'll do the one on the left. I need my dice. The 4 beats the 3. So it will move, the closest one are those guys. So it will move 4 inches in that direction. This one right here, I roll. The 5 beats the 1. It will move 5 inches. So it will be right in front of this one. And then we'll come over here to this one and see what happens. The aggression beats the green, so it will move 3 inches towards, that's the closest one. It will move 3 inches that way. All right, that is the end of the enemy phase. Now we go to the slow phase. These 2 guys will move on the slow phase. Each one of them is going to move to this objective. And as soon as I move 4... As soon as I move to 4, I believe I'm within... I am not. I'm at 13 inches. I'm just out of range of this contact marker. Now, the contact markers represent, in the book, it says that you've got some sign of... It's like a motion detector, but it detects actual life. But when you come into contact and you roll to see what it is, there is a chance that it's just a false signal. So keep that in mind. All right, everybody has moved. That is the end of the fast phase. There is a phase after that that's sort of like a cleanup phase. I don't really need to do it. I'm going to skip it, and we're going to go straight to the reaction phase. So once again, I will roll 4 dice. I'm looking for 1s and 2s, and I got a single 2. Well, I am going to, well, you know what we didn't do? We didn't roll for that contact, so let's do that. So the way this works is, back on page 41, there's a chart on page 42 for the contact reveal. You roll a d6, and what you really want to roll is a 1 and 2. I rolled a 1. 1 is false alarm, so this contact marker goes away. All right, I'm going to have him move in the fast phase. He can move 4 inches, which puts him right here. Now, he is within 2 inches of that objective. And the rule says, for the mission, let me get back to the mission. I really hate flipping back and forth, and I do apologize for having to do this. All right, discovery markers. It says, when you move within 2 inches, the marker is removed, and you immediately roll a d6 on the table below. Now, here's where it could also be an enemy. So this objective marker comes off. There's a chart on page 115. Again, you roll a d6. You do not run a roll of 1 on this one. And I rolled a 2. A 2 is reward. You tag the location for later extraction. You may roll once on the post-mission find table after the mission is over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, under the campaign, I'm going to just make a note that I get to roll for a post-mission find. So do not want to forget that. Roll post-mission find. And it even tells you it's on page 134. But I have to end the mission before I can do that. All right, that was the slow phase. Everybody else is going to act, or that was the fast phase. Now we go and we do the markers again. Well, this one disappeared. Let's come over to these two. We'll do the one that's closest to my people. And the 2 beats the 1, so it will move 2 inches towards that direction. Sometimes they move fast, sometimes they move slow. This one right here, it's a tie. Okay, what happens if there's a tie? The rule said that if there's a tie, you place another marker. Let me get to page 42. Hold on, where is it? Okay. Contact marker, the contact is revealed. I know it. Oh, wait, here. If the dice are equal, the contact remains in place. If there are only 1 or 2 contacts currently on the table, place a new one. Well, there are 3, so I don't have to place a new one. Also, I did make a mistake. When a contact comes within the visible range, you have to roll a d6, and on a 4 or higher, you spot it. So a 4, I'm just retro, that guy did spot it. But from now on, I'll try to remember that. Okay, so those 2 are okay. Let's come over to this one right here. This one is going to move. That red die is jinxed. It is going to move 3 inches towards my guys, which means it is going to be within the range of possible detection. It's going to move to right there. And remember, line of sight is required, and I'm within 12, so I roll a d6, and on a 4 or higher, I see it. On a 2, I do not. I haven't spotted it. Okay, that is it for the enemy phase, except, remember, 1, 2, 3. At the start, I forgot to do it. At the start of each one, I'm supposed to roll. I rolled a 5. So remember, on a 4, 5, or 6, you do not place a new contact marker. If I did, I would have gone ahead and moved that one too during the enemy phase. So now we're back to the slow phase, or the reaction phase, where I need to roll 4 dice, 1 for each of my crew. I got a single 2 again. All right, I'm going to assign that to this trooper. He heard something skittering over here. So when he moves again, each obscure contact is detected. Note, only a single roll is made for each contact, regardless of the number of characters. At the end of each enemy phase, all contacts are in line of sight. All right, so it's the end of the enemy phase. So I rolled that he did not see it at the end of the enemy phase, and I don't get to do that again until the next one. But since I don't see him and I was going for the objective, that's what he's going to do. He's going to move 4 inches towards that objective, which is not going to get him. Well, it does get him within 2. It gets him within 2, so we have to make another roll. What does that look like? This is on page 42. Remember, I don't want to roll a 1 or a 2. I rolled a 3, which is place. Oh, I do want to roll a 1 or 2. A 3 is place 2 new contacts along the battlefield edges randomly. All right, so let's do this. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I rolled a 1. So we'll place another contact here, and then we'll roll again. And I rolled a 2, which is here again. All right, so the 2 new contacts, that's not good. Let me see if I can find another green. There we go. Another contact there. All right, so this objective, I revealed it. Each obscure contact. No, this was an objective. I just had to move within. Hold on. That was the contact. I'm doing this wrong. I apologize. It was the objective that I roll on, which is on page 115. Page 115 is, remember, you roll the d6 to see if it's an enemy or something. So he moved. These will all move slow. So I'm going to roll a d6, and I don't want to roll a 1, which is an enemy. Okay, here we go. Enemy. Place a sleeper in the most distant terrain feature the investigation figure can see. All right, what is a sleeper? It is a robot, killer robot, that is like from the leftover civilization that used to rule this planet. They're dangerous. The good news is, it says I have to place it in the most distant terrain feature, which would be that rock right there. It could be those, but it's within line of sight, it says. The figure can see. So I will put a sleeper, and I'm going to get the robot mini, and it's going to be, where do we want to do it? We'll get, I have lots of robots. I will put the robot, where do I want to put him? Okay, we'll get this one. All right. Hopefully I don't encounter him. He is over here at the rock. Okay, a sleeper is not an enemy you have to roll on, but he is awake. He's called a sleeper, but let me get to the sleeper and read it to you. The sleepers have a speed of 5, combat skill of +1, and a toughness of 4. It says they seem to activate only when near an organic presence. Sleepers use a following profile. A sleeper that scores a hit. Okay. When each sleeper, roll a d6 to determine its weapon. Okay, now I have to roll a d6 to determine its weapon. I rolled a 5, which is a beam weapon. All right, so the sleeper has a beam weapon. I'm just making a note in my journal here. Sleeper, beam weapon. Why does that matter? Because its other weapon, if I rolled a 6, is a heavy beam, which does more damage. It has more shots and a bigger range. The range right now is 12 for the beam weapon, so that's good. All right. Sleepers cannot be stunned, and they are fearless. They are immune to panic. As you explore, you will come across the defenders that recall whether systems are in poor state. The fact they still function. Troopers have nicknamed sleepers. Yeah, he's awake. So he will move randomly until he comes within line of sight of me. So now that I've seen him, I remove this objective. Now, I have satisfied 2 of the 4 objectives, but I really would like to get more, because the success, the rewards is, where is it? It says you receive any rewards you required, so I'll get that 1 roll here. If you completed at least 2 discovery markers, the area is considered no longer under investigation. So I can stop right now. As a matter of fact, I may do that. I know I didn't get into combat this turn, but sometimes avoiding combat is not a bad thing. But I still have this contact, which is going to happen now. So let's play it out. This one moved. It is now the enemy phase. So let's go check these markers and see what happens. All right. So we have 2 here. They're equal. So I was doing this one. So let's do, what did I say? When they're equal, I'm trying to remember page 41. Contacts, if they're equal, if there are only 1 or 2 contacts, you place a new one. There are 3, so I don't have to. Okay, never mind. So let's go back to this one. The random beats the 6 inches in a random direction. I roll this yellow die, and whichever way it's pointing this way, it will move 6 inches in that direction. Right there. All right, let's come over to this one, and then we'll deal with the sleeper. This one right here. Okay. 5 beats the 2, so it will move. Oh, it's just going to move 5 in. So it moves and engages me. Now we have to roll to see what it is. Back to page 41, 42, and we roll to see what it is. Do not roll. Now, hold on, this is a contact. Okay, yeah. I rolled a 2. False alarm. I kid you not. This is probably the luckiest first mission I have ever had. All right, but we still got the robot. The robot is going to move in a random direction. Now remember, when he gets within 12 inches, he will be able to see me as I would be able to see him. That way, 12. All right, or 5, excuse me. So he has to go around this 3, and he will go 2, and he is 13 and a half inches from me. So I think I hear the big metal stomping, so I think it's best that I keep my crew alive. I did get something good out of this. So what I'm going to do now is the trooper is going to order a retreat. They are all going to move 4 inches back, and he moved during the fast phase, so he can't. That is the end of the slow phase. Now we go to reaction again. I got 2 2s. I will give them to the troopers because that's the only one I can. He'll move 4. The trooper moves 4. And they've moved. We go see what we got to roll to see if a new contact appears. A 4, it does not. So we come over here and we see what happens. It doesn't really matter at this point because I don't think they're going to be able to catch me, but we'll still play it. The 6 beats the 3 for this one, so it will move 6 inches towards me. This one, the random 6 moves it in that direction, so it goes 4, 5, 6. Let's keep going. The robot will move randomly this way, so it comes back. And then 1, 2, and that one disappeared, so we're good. All right, on the slow phase, this one will move off. He's safe. My scout will move off. He's safe. And that's all I can do. Now, at the end of the phase, I was supposed to... No, the beginning, excuse me. At this point, it's not going to matter. I rolled 2 5s, which means they will move in the slow phase. Even if the objectives move directly at me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be able to move 4 and 4 off, and get my guys back to safety. Blah. All right, so that's the end of the first encounter, and believe it or not a shot was fired, which is fine with me. I know some of you were probably looking for the combat rules. Trust me, we will get to them. They will happen. Let me go ahead and roll for that 140-34 so I don't forget. 134 is a post-mission find. It's a D100, so I need to roll 2 D10s. I only have the 1, so I'll just roll it twice. This is the first digit, 7, and the second digit, 7. 77 is by the book victory. Despite some hardships, it was a solid mission, and everyone performed well. Pick one character to have been the cornerstone. They receive +1 XP. If your squad included any scouts, claim 1 unit of raw material. Okay, so I will go ahead and add a raw material. I have 2. Now I have 3. By the way, I got that 2 from running these pre-missions. The book has these 3 pre-missions. They're really kind of silly. They're too simple. I ran 2 out of the 3 and blew them away. The third one I didn't get. I got 4 out of the 6 kills, so I didn't get any reward there. It would have been morale. But they ran so fast, I was like, I just didn't feel like dealing with the video on them. All right, so that is campaign number 1. What I'm going to do in just a moment, I'm going to change the camera, and we'll go through the post-mission roles and things like that, and I'll show you how that's done. Hang tight. Okay, on page 66 is step 8 of the campaign turn. Step 7, by the way, was the battle. If you watched the earlier part, step 6 was the mission selection. Step 7 was play the battle, and now we are to step 8. So for step 8, it is play out your mission. Done. Step 9, injuries. None of my guys were injured, so I don't have to worry about that. 10 is experience. Okay, your characters learn from their experience. Progression is measured with XP. A character only receives XP if they participate in a mission, but any character that was on the table for at least 1 round qualifies. XPs are tallied together for each character individually. It may be spent to upgrade. Mission XP. Participated in the battle, +1. Did not become a casualty, +1. Directly killed an enemy monster. Well, none of my guys got involved in combat, so that's not going to happen. But what I can do is I can give Jeb 2 XP. I can give the scout 2 XP. I can give the trooper 2, and he goes up to 3 because I awarded him that 1 bonus. And then this other one who started with 3 goes up to 5. Now I can spend these XP because it says every 5 you get to make an advancement roll. So maybe I want to do that because if he dies and I have 20 XP, it's not going to do me any good. So let's go ahead and roll. You have to do this randomly. There's a random table on page 67. So once again, first digit is 40 or 4, and second one is 2. A 42 is combat skill, +1 each time. Scouts may trade for a reaction. So my trooper, who traded in his 5, is now combat +2, which means he hits. He has a better chance of hitting when he rolls a combat die. All right, and he is at 0 now. All right, after XP, we go to, let's see if I can, we go to, oh yeah, and you can increase ability scores like reaction combat and stuff by just paying for a price instead of rolling on the random table. I'm going to be doing the random table because I think it's kind of more fun. But if you don't want to do the random, you can just pay. But the cost is higher than 5. It's like for instance, if you want to pay for a higher combat skill, it's 7. So you lose something if you don't do the randomness. You have to spend more XP. All right, step 11, colony morale. The morale of your colony is subject to continual change. In particular, your score drops 1 during it. In particular, your colony morale score automatically drops 1 point during this step, regardless of any actions. It will drop an additional point for every battle casualty. So I'm at colony morale +1, so now I'm down to 0, because you automatically lose a colony morale when you have to send people out on a mission. I don't know why that is, but hey. Now, if it ever gets down to -10, you got a problem. So, got to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to put morale drops to 0. For my 10, I took Trooper 2. I haven't given him names yet, and I increased his combat to +2. Track enemy and mission data. Okay, hold on. If you fought a tactical enemy, okay, I did not, so I don't have to do that. No tactical enemy. 13, replacements. It says, if you have less than a full roster, I have a full roster, so I will not roll. You have to roll 2d6 to consult a chart to see if you manage to recruit from your colonists any additional, a replacement. So I don't have to do that. 14, research. During this step, you receive any research points you have earned from any sources this campaign turn. Any RP you have accumulated can now be spent. Well, I have 5 research points, and I get one at the end. I get one each turn, and that's when this happens. You receive any research. So research point is 1. So I go from 5 to 6, and I'm gonna since combat was really short, I may go over this with you in just a minute. All right, building. During this step, you receive any building points. One by building points is 1. So, or my building points earned is 1 per turn. So I now have 1 building point. You can use those to build buildings, which can affect your morale, give you additional manufacturing technology, things like that. Colony integrity. My integrity is currently 0. If it ever goes to -3 or worse, there's something really bad that's going to happen. Character event. Your characters have their own lives. Randomly select 1 character. I have 8, so I'll roll a d10. I'll ignore 9s and 10s. I rolled a 1. The scout, yellow, will roll on page 70, a random table. I rolled a 7-1. A 71 is accident. The character injures themselves. Roll on the post-battle injury table. You know what? I'm burning another story point. I'm not going to have that. I go down to 3. I have to re-roll this, and I have to take what comes. I rolled a 64. Personal life achievement. Something significant happens. Receive 1 story point and 1 point of colony morale. So my morale went back up. Story points go back up. I'm at morale 1. So we'll just say that the scout celebrated his 21st birthday. And on a colony, that's considered good luck. So had a good time. The morale of the colony went up because a big party was thrown, and much fun was had. Much drinking was done. All right, that is the colony event, or character event, and that is it. Update your colony sheet, which I've done, and that's it. All right, so I've got 6 research points. So let me show you how this works. During that research step, which was step 13, 13 I think it was. If you go to page, let's see, where's the research stuff? Okay. Setup. I know it was in here somewhere. Close encounter. Here we go. Mission battles. No, that's, oh, here it is. Okay. The research starts on page... That's buildings. Buildings is on page 97, and research is on... Come on, where's the research? Research is colony integrity, colony morale. Research, page 91. So sorry. All right. So the way research works is you pay RPs, research points. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 theories that you can spend your RP on, and each of these theories has subcategories called what are they called? They're called where are they? Well, they're called applications. That's what it is. So first you have to, before you can say make better weapons, you have to do research in infantry equipment or something like that. The way it works is you first have to pay points for the theory, and those are anywhere from 3 to 5. And then after that, your applications can cost anywhere from 2 to 5. Some of them are cheap, some of them are not cheap. The one I was looking at earlier when I was reading through this thing is, what was it? It was, military doctrine. I think that was it. Okay, military doctrine costs 3, so that would leave me with 3. And then these are the things I can spend money on. Civil preparation, it increases colony morale by +3. An early warning system, I get a sharpshooter sight for one of my grunts. Military barracks, I can build a military barracks, and it says it gives you ammo packs available as a grunt upgrade. Troopers can take handguns in addition to normal equipment. I can also get a Medivac shuttle facility and a rapid response network. But remember, those cost 3. I think right now, I don't know. It's so crazy. I want to show you. You may not be able to see it, but there are these research trees, which are really, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's a lot of them. There's 2 pages of them. And it's kind of like a video game where you can, sort of like choose the path you want your colony to take. Now, the other thing is I only have 1 build point. So most of the buildings are like 8, 4, 5, 6. So I'm not anywhere close to building anything. But I think I am going to do research. I want to, what do I want to do? Let's do infantry equipment. Okay, it costs 2. So I have the theory, I've paid for the theory called infantry equipment. And it costs 2, minus 2 RP. And then, I think I can buy it right away. Your colony receives 1 RP per campaign turn. All RP are tallied up and added. You may then spend them to buy advances. You can spend on multiple items in the same turn. So I want to do this. So if I choose infantry equipment, there's this thing on here called the steady rifle for the troopers. It's a weapon. I need to see what that's going to cost. It's probably going to be expensive. So I come over to the research tree, and I go to, where is it? Weapons. It was infantry equipment right here. So I paid the 2, and I look over here at steady rifle, and it costs 2. Trooper weapons, CB, GR. Oh, it's a CB. I don't know what that means. CB. What is that? The diagram industry. Oh, CB is colony bot upgrade. Oh, colony bot upgrade. Trooper upgrade, grunt upgrade. Oh, so that's a colony bot. Steady rifle is for the robot. There's nothing I can get for the phase rifle. Okay. Now that I have infantry equipment, I would have to pay another 2 to do adapted combat gear, and to get so I could do it 2, 4, 6. So then I'm going to spend 2 on adapted combat gear. Adapted gear, minus 2. And then that gets me to phase rifle. That looks awesome. Now I have one of the more powerful weapons in the game. So the way I look at it is, me as the administrator, I'm like, look, this is a dangerous planet. I want my troopers with the best weapons you scientists can come up with. And what they've come up with is a phase rifle, which, by the way, I will tell you how it works. Go back to the references. A phase rifle has a range. It is a range of 16. 1 shot plus 1 damage. It is a tier 2 weapon. I got to figure out what that means, and it's for a scout. So I could give it to one of my scouts. I will read over this again and make sure that is actually something that I can get, but I'm pretty sure I can buy the tier 2 upgrade because it says you can spend the points however you like. And that is minus 2, which takes me down to 0 research points. But I will be able to give my scouts phase rifles when they go out to explore. All right, that will do it for this week. I will be back in a week with another episode. I hope you're liking this. I really like this Planetfall game. I know this is going to be fun. I love the little bit of crunchiness it has with managing your colony. I love that you're not having to manage 50 soldiers or 50 colonists. It's just these 8. This is kind of cool. All right, everybody. I will be back in a week. Until then, everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.